day, right? Never see attention on today's call, but welcome here to crypto and assets call on a Saturday with myself. Usually, as you guys know from last week, I run this call with my brother John Luke, but right now he's actually at a huge conference in Boston, so he wasn't able to hop in today. But you guys have me today. My vision on today's call is to really be very intentional. Talk about some things on what's going on in crypto, give you guys some perspective, but also answer some of your questions. Right now, things are looking amazing. Honestly, some people are like, well, what does that mean? And I'll be talking about that here in a little bit. But my biggest vision here is to give you guys the blueprint, give you guys perspective and help you guys understand kind of what's going on in the markets and also take advantage of the weekends. Because I always say this, and there's a reason why I wanted to run these calls on Saturday, because Saturdays is where most people take off. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. You have to, take some time to rejuvenate and refuel yourself. But at the same time, some people don't even look at anything on the weekends. And realistically, guys, if you guys don't know this, in crypto, the weekends, believe it or not, statistically proven from what I've seen for the last 5 years, is that the best opportunities at times exist on the weekends for crypto. Like, put a one in the chat if you've seen that before. You've been here maybe for a couple months, couple years, and you've been seeing like, damn, like on the weekends, that's kind of when I see like opportunity. And it's true because guess what happens on the weekends? Most people take off. So markets are being moved because on the weekends, that's when most people don't expect things to happen. And as you guys start to see here in Powerhouse, we look at the masses and we do the complete opposite, right? Quote unquote, what we call smart money. It's really the psychology of how money is moved and why it's moved. And I'm not saying this is the only reason, but that's a little piece of it, which is very, very key. So we're saying that, guys, what I want to start today's call. And if you guys don't know me, my name is Jesus Gill, 27 years young, live out in Dallas, Texas. I've been in this journey, guys, for almost 5 years. I've been in crypto since 2021. My first purchase in crypto was Ethereum at $1,200. I was able to see that go to 4 or 5K. I should have taken more profit. I took some profit, right? I was able to go to a honeymoon in Barcelona with my wife. But one thing I learned is this, and I'm going to talk about this on today's call as well, is not only when to enter, it's when to exit. And that's why we have these calls. That's why we have the systems we have in Powerhouse, is because we want to equip you guys more than the average person, right? The average person, believe it or not, has access to maybe entries. It's not hard to know when to buy. And I'll talk about that today. The biggest thing is knowing when to really take profit and to be prepared and have a plan. Now, I want to ask you guys this before we get going. Put a 3 in the chat if you have a crypto plan. Put a 2 in the chat if you do not. Crypto plan basically means what you're buying, what you're holding, where you're going to be DCAing, where you're going to be exiting. Put a 2 if you do not have a plan. And that is okay. All right. That's why I'm on today's call. If everybody have a plan, like there's not much to talk about. Okay. But I'm grateful that we have some 2s, we got some 3s. All right. So before we kind of go in there, I do want to talk about a couple things on what's going on in crypto, some things that you guys can write down if you want. Number one, there's a lot of things going on in crypto in the past 7 days. But one of the biggest things I saw is that the U.S. Senate advances stablecoin regulation. Now, if you guys don't know this, I think I talked about this in the last call we had, and we talked about a little bit about stablecoins. Stablecoins is something pegged to the dollar. And I'm actually going to show you guys this. I'm going to start sharing my screen and stuff because I want to give you guys visuals, right? I'm going to be a little bit more like hands-on, raw. There's no PowerPoint today. More like actually showing you guys. But there's a website called CoinGecko, and I'm going to show you guys what a stablecoin is and kind of what it could look like. Okay. So here, if you go on here, okay, and then you literally go to search button and you Google stable coins, stable, or I can just show you one, which is like USDC. One of the biggest ones. It's actually even here, to be honest, right here, right? So we have that Tether, which we don't really push Tether. There's a lot of reasons for that. Tether, there's a lot of backend issues that could erupt at any time, and we don't really trust it. They've been audited multiple times, and they don't really pass their audits, which is wild to me because they're a stable coin. They're pegged to a dollar, meaning they have to have a reserve, right? So it's kind of interesting that that's the case. So a lot of those really use USDC. USDC is pegged to the dollar as well. It's a stable coin. As you see, it's like 0.999. It can fluctuate a little bit, but it's pegged to the dollar. It's one of the biggest ones. Literally JP Morgan owns it because they own Circle. Circle is a company that owns USDC. You can say it's more of a centralized asset. I believe so, 100%. If a centralized entity owns it, then it's centralized. But it's okay Now, this is one thing that's going to be used a lot, guys, a lot in crypto, like huge, because when we transition from where we're at now to like crypto, it's not going to be us necessarily using like Solana or Bitcoin at the stores. It's going to be more using the technology. And one thing that we're going to be able to use is going to be the stable coin because you're going to be able to purchase something if it costs $10, $15, $20, $30. But it's going to be depending on it being within the blockchain. So USDC is so crucial, like super crucial in the adoption of crypto. And it's what these big institutions are pushing towards. So the US Senate advancing stablecoin regulation is a huge deal. And it's an amazing thing that we want to see. You want to see regulation get closer and closer and closer. Because the wild thing for me is this. Right now, we're sitting at $103,000 BTC, and there's not even clear regulation yet. Like, that's wild. Like, we're at all-time highs, guys, and we're not even having crazy regulation yet. Imagine when that happens. And that's the things that we're kind of looking for that. And yes, this is recorded. We'll send it within Powerhouse. If you're a Powerhouse member, we'll send this in there. But yes, cool. So that's number one. Number two, AI token surge because of technological advances. Now, one thing I want you guys to note down is knowing what's being popular and being used in the world that we're living in technology-wise to transition into crypto. Now, one of the things is AI. Now, here on CoinGecko, you can literally search up anything. And I can go here and do AI, right? And I can go AI. Let's see if I can go to categories actually right here. Boom, boom, boom. And then AI, right? So I can kind of look. I can also go here. So what I do sometimes actually here. I go to categories on CoinGecko, and this is kind of what I'm showing you guys what I do when I like look at things while I'm speaking and give you guys this information. Now, CoinGecko here, categories, we can go look at all the different stable coins, right? We can go look at all the AIs, artificial intelligence. So these are all the AI tokens. So what I'm saying is this, and I don't want you guys to look at this and say, okay, that means anything in AI I'm going to buy. Not necessarily, okay? What we want to look at is certain assets that have been here, that have credibility, that have good tokenomics. These are things that we're going to be talking about on every call. I'm not going to be talking about everything on every call, right? There's going to be segments. But really here is about the AI tokens. Now, TAO, T-A-O, Bitensor, I think it's Bitensor, is one of the top ones. It's actually something that Mike Sotero has been talking about a lot. Like, put a 5 in the chat. You've been seeing Mike Sotero talk about this asset right here, which is already at $400. And the crazy thing is that this coin, like, wild. This coin was at like 200 at the beginning of April. That's a little bit wild, right? So this is one of the assets, that, we've been able to be looking at. Another one is one called Near Protocol, ICP, put some ICPs. I know we have some ICP fiends, you guys love ICP. I have ICP, okay? Don't make it seem like I don't like ICP. But I'm gonna talk about a little bit of diversification as well. But ICP is a good one. It's a layer one, meaning it's its own blockchain. It's literally its own blockchain. There's a lot of credibility behind this token for sure. But something I am going to tell you guys is that some coins might not reach previous all-time highs. One thing that you want to look at, and I'm not going to go too crazy into it, it'll be the conversation on our next call, but it's tokenomics, right? You want to look at the tokenomics. Now, Gil, what is tokenomics? Okay, I might be getting over people's head. It's just the numbers. It's really not that deep, right? It's things like market cap, how much money is in this crypto. It's things like circulating supply, how much coins are out in the marketplace. And that's kind of what gives the price, right? Market cap and circulating supply gives the price. And it shows you that there is a max max supply, meaning they can print more as they go within the blockchain. But right now, this is what it looks like. Now, if you go back and look at ICP, for example, I'm going to just give you guys a little bit of a breakthrough. Here, you look at price. Here, you look at market cap, okay? So previous market cap around like a good high was around 7.8, around $6 billion in market cap. Right now, we're sitting around half of that. Okay, put a 2 in the chat if you can see that. We're sitting around half of that, right? This is half of like 5 point whatever it was at, a little bit less than half, but like let's just say around half. But the price is like not a half, right? Because at previous all-time highs, we were like at 15. We were at like bigger numbers, okay? So what I'm saying is this, ICP is a great asset, but one thing is this, I wouldn't hold this until like crazy. Like I wouldn't hold this around 100, 200, 300, guys. the likelihood of it coming to these levels is very unlikely because the tokenomics have changed. That's very, very important. So this is a good asset for sure. But when you see a 3, 4, 5x, guys, be okay with taking profits and not thinking it's going to go to the previous all-time highs or even up to like 70, 80, 100. It can. I'm not saying it cannot, but just make sure to take care of yourself. Some things I'm going to talk about as well. I just want to talk about AI because that's one of the big things that's going on right now with the advances of it going. So this is where you look at it, guys. Very simple. You look at it here. We got Render. Render's a good one. I like Render. They're partnered with Nike, doing some things there. We got artificial super intelligence. These are a couple projects that came together. So here are a couple of AI ones. So that's number 2 things going on. And number 3, I really like this. This is huge. Now, put a 1 in the chat if you saw that Coinbase is now part of the S&P 500. Now that's wild. Like Coinbase as the company, as the exchange, is now part of the S&P 500. If you do not know what the S&P 500 is the 500 biggest, companies in the United States. You have to get invited into it, right? You obviously there's logistics behind it, but it's amazing to see that officially now we have a crypto exchange, a part of the S&P 500, guys. Like other than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the number 1 performing asset in the world. Other than Bitcoin, S&P is the highest performing asset, right? So this is amazing because this also shows that there's going to be more eyes on Coinbase. So like, let's go on here, Coinbase, right? Look at the stock. So yes, this is crypto and assets, right? So this is an asset, like it's literally a stock, right? That you're able to have exposure in crypto without you maybe necessarily having to buy crypto. And obviously, we're here to execute and be a part of the market. But if you have any friends or family like, yeah, I don't really like crypto, like I like stocks, you should tell them, hey, look at Coinbase though. You might not have to buy Bitcoin. You might not have to understand. If you don't like it, that's cool. But wouldn't you want exposure? And Coinbase is an asset where you are able to have exposure in crypto. And the great thing is right now, Coinbase from a week ago, it's already up 82%. That's wild. In stocks, that's like really wild. So it's almost a 2x. That's been going on since kind of like that's happened. And it's really just the beginning. If you guys know Jordan Morgan, he talked about Coinbase like around here. He saw this one. He saw these rejections as well. So this is an asset that, remember, it's very new. Think about it. Coinbase was public around 2021 area. So you're talking about in the next 5, 10, 15 years. Coinbase is something that I always say this. It's the most used in the US. It's one of the most used globally. Honestly, for myself, I don't really use Coinbase myself to like transact. I use Kraken because I think Coinbase has more manipulation and nothing wrong with it. But I don't know. I've seen things in the past, but I'm here to tell you this. Coinbase is here to stay, right? Coinbase is like the US. Without Coinbase, like Coinbase is helping the US be a part of crypto. So that's a good understanding about it. And this is something to greatly look at. And if you're somebody that wants to diversify your portfolio, you're like, yeah, I want to have crypto, but I also want to have some stocks, then you might be able to look at crypto stocks that will give you exposure in both areas. All right. So that's a big thing that's going on. Now, something else is that the SEC plans new rules for crypto tokens, guys. The SEC, right, is starting to do things for crypto. And that's a big deal because, again, it's similar to like regulation. They're creating things in the back end, but also just know that nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about Coinbase S&P 500. Nobody's talking about regulation. Nobody's talking about any of this, guys. What this is doing, and you can write this down if you want. Right now, things are being in place so that in the back end, institutions are getting ready to get in at the highest level. Now, I also want to give you guys a news flash. There's a reason why, okay, a little bit more advanced, but there's a reason why we have not had cuts in rates. Put a 5 in the chat if you understand what rate cuts mean. You understand that kind of terminology, right? But literally right now, we haven't cut interest rates, okay? And what that does, if you guys don't know, interest rates, obviously, is like the rates we're talking about, the houses, loans, okay? When we cut interest rates, that creates a bullish market because it's cheaper to borrow money. And believe it or not, wealthy people do not use cash. FYI, if you guys didn't know that, newsflash, they don't use cash. They borrow money. They borrow against their assets to then make more money. It's wild. And we might talk about that as we go on, because these are things that I'm learning as well. Like I'm a student of the game myself. And that's why we have these calls to kind of like pour into you guys of what I've learning, little things I've been able to bring and myself and John Luke and then give it to you guys. But here we can see, guys, that last week, okay, last week we had, I think it was, I don't know if it was this week, last week, right? Yeah, it was definitely last week. Yeah, it was last week's, right? So basically, we have, was it last week or the week before? No, FOMC. Yep, it was right here. So we have FOMC. Okay. So FOMC right here is rates are at 4.5. It hasn't moved, guys. Literally right now, from the book, it should have already been cut. That's something that everybody's talking about. Like, why are everything they cut? Like everything's in place. Unemployment's actually going down. That's what they want. What's kind of going on? Why aren't they cutting, guys? It's very simple. They're not cutting rates because they want regulation and things to be prepared for the run, for like full adoption. And what they're letting people do, they're letting institutions get in right now. Get ready for the boost. So just make sure that one thing that I learned from a lot of the educators we've had access to is that once they start cutting rates, just saying, but it's kind of already too late, right? I've been in the market since 2021. I saw the bull run. I saw Bitcoin from under 20K to go to 60K. I saw Ethereum to go from under $500 to so on and so forth. I saw that happen. And one thing that I saw spark that was rate cuts. And obviously money was given because of everything that happened with COVID. And who knows, we might see similar things, okay? Because the markets don't do the same thing, but they look similar, okay? And that's very, very key to understand. Now, guys, put a 3 in the chat if this is making sense, right? I wanted to give you guys some things on what's going on in crypto, what's in the horizons right now on a week-to-week basis. I'm going to bring that to you guys because I want to show you guys that there's a lot going on and keep you guys up to date, and as well as how to look this for yourself, right? But with saying that, what I want to kind of go to next in the next segment here before I bring up for the Q&A and help you guys answer any questions is I kind of want to look at the markets and give you guys maybe potential things that we can start looking at for anybody who's here. Now, I want to ask you guys this so I have more of an understanding. Put a 1, or let's say, give me a second. What did I ask before? Put a 1 in the chat if you do not have a portfolio or not confident with your portfolio. Put a 2 in the chat if you are confident and already have a portfolio. You already have assets. You already know kind of where you're getting. Put a 1 if you do not. You're like, I have questions. I might have a little bit of crypto there, but like I don't really have a structure. Okay, amazing. We got a lot of 2s. We got some 1s. All right. So regardless of where you're at, you'll be able to learn from it. So the first thing I want to look at, guys, to be honest, if you guys have never looked at this, I would highly recommend it to pull up. This is TradingView where we look at the charts. Is total market cap. Okay. There's a couple of totals that I want to show you guys that we can execute on. But the first one is total 1, right? As we can see, total 1 is around here. It's kind of where Bitcoin is at, because a lot of the like popularity, a lot of the cryptos, like the money in crypto is in Bitcoin right now. The dominance is the highest right now. It's changing, but it's there. Now, the second one I want to show you guys is total 2. Now, total 2 is everything but Bitcoin. Okay. It's literally every crypto but Bitcoin. As you can see, and there's something correlation that you're going to start to see. If you compare total 1, which is all of crypto, to total 2, you can see that total 1 is already higher than total 2 where it could kind of be going, right? So there's something called a lag in the markets because realistically, the first thing that moves is Bitcoin, then Ethereum and Solana, then altcoins, okay? And that's what we want to see, even total 3, it's kind of a little bit lower. But I show you guys this to give you guys perspective on kind of where we can look at. So one thing I want to look at right now is total 3. Total 3 is like altcoins. It's everything except Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, I'm here to be honest with you. This is where a lot of you guys are going to see the most upside is with anything outside of BTC. I think Ethereum, there's still a lot of upside in my opinion. And I'll talk about that. But these are kind of like the altcoins that everybody loves. Now, right now, we came into a zone around April 7th right here. Okay, this was a zone that was very popular. I had it marked up here. Kind of came similar to the area. But this is kind of the rejection zone that we saw. Right now, we can see that the market is rejecting to maybe come for a lower price. Now, what most people do in the market, guys, is they buy when things go up. Okay, I'm here to tell you guys, be patient, okay, because this market moved, right? And if you guys are learning trading, like put a 5 in the chat if you're learning trading right now, right? You're learning market structure, higher highs, higher lows. You're learning this, guys. you guys can apply this with portfolio building as well. Like one thing that the beauty about me learning trading first and then crypto was I already knew how to mark up a chart. And that's a huge plus because guess what? I can go on here and mark up my structure and it dictate for me on where are we going, right? Because for a while on the daily, we were going on a downtrend on the daily, right? On the weekly, we're showing an uptrend. But it wasn't until recent that something happened. Now, let me know in the chat box what happened here. What happened? For the ones that are learning, right? What happened here? There's a certain terminology that we're looking for. Okay, what happened recently? See in the chat box. Okay, change of character. What else? What else could it be called? Right? We called, right? Break of structure, right? Exactly. It can also be called like a new high, right? So that's what happened. So I have this little feature here. Go here, go here, break, right? So I like to mark this up and it gets lost because it's in the hourly. This quick. But these are things that I would recommend to do, guys. Like literally, like on the daily, you can look at structure to have more of a idea of, okay, what should I be looking for? Because you could buy on the weekly down here, like a lot of people did, or you can just be patient and say, hey, when it starts to create higher highs on the daily, I'm looking for reentries. Now, what like we know, it broke above. A lot of people bought here, believe it or not. Like so many people bought here. This is kind of when BTC hit like 100K. So a lot of people took profit here. But one thing that I saw is I said, hey, look, what's happening? Okay, one thing that I do when market structure breaks is I use fibs. Fib is a tool on TradingView right here on the left-hand side. You go here, you go to fib retracement. All it is, guys, is just a retracement, right? This is like it's not really like an indicator, it's a tool because believe it or not, like I've always said this, people move the markets and people have emotions. Put a one in the chat if you can agree with that. Like people move the markets and people have emotions. So us as people, we have great moments, we have no so great moments. We have ups and we have downs. That's the wave flow of life. Same thing goes in the markets. It's wild, literally. So retracement, the fib retracement tool, just shows a percentage of when it goes up, where it could come back before it goes higher when the market is continuing at that level. So right now, literally, and because it's crypto, guys, I look at anything at 50% or lower. So literally just I give myself more space because we're not looking for like a sniper entry. Another thing I'm gonna tell you guys is this, very key. You don't need the sniper entry for your portfolio. I'm just gonna be honest. You don't need it. For trading, it's different. I get it. But for crypto, guys, you do not need the sniper entry. Like, oh my God, I got in here. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna be real. It doesn't matter. Like if somebody got in here and then got in here, guys, when this market is at trillions of dollars, is it really gonna matter? No, right? So yes, entry matters, but at the same time, don't be too picky with your portfolio because it's all about areas. Instead of entry, it's areas. So literally anything below in this area, around this area for altcoins, I would be looking for potential entries. So literally it's at there. It kind of came in there right now. This is something I'll send in the Powerhouse crypto chat as well. But this is a potential area that we can be looking at for entries, right? Right now, this could be kind of being going down during the weekend, and it could come back up and do its move to start the week. So, like I said, the weekend is where most people are sleeping and don't look at great potential entries. So this is one potential entry. If it wants to continue, I will look at this area. Now, what are some altcoins that we can be looking at? I know shout out to Junior. Put a 7 in the chat if you saw Junior's idea that he sent to everyone, really, when it comes to Chainlink. I love Chainlink, honestly. I'll talk about Chainlink myself as a why it's popular and why it's important in my perspective. But Chainlink, guys, is an asset that is super important in the crypto markets, mostly with Ethereum and DeFi. Basically, to make it very simple, Chainlink gives people or gives the network an opportunity to store data and to do certain things and to also give help with the kind of the blockchain side and stuff like that in Ethereum. It's kind of like a helper of a code, right? If you want to put it that way. Without Link, Ethereum cannot function properly. I'm gonna be honest, right? It's kind of like the backbone of Ethereum. And if we know that Ethereum is the second biggest asset that has so much adoption, even though it's people don't see it because it's slow, at the end of the day, guys, it's gonna boom, it's gonna do its thing. And Chainlink is something that's very, very key. So right now, we're looking at great areas. I'm happy that Junior sent those kind of areas that he was talking about. But look, I'm gonna show you guys this. If we go on the daily, I'm gonna do the same thing that I did for total 3. And as we can see, this was going on a downtrend, right? Until, let me know in the chat box, until what happened? What happened recently? Right, we already talked about it, but I want to kind of quiz you guys on like what you're looking at. Okay. Break of structure, right? Change of character, whatever you want to call it, high or high, right? Whatever you really want to call it. Same thing at the end of the day. But that's kind of what happened in the markets. Now, what does this mean? That means that right now it's looking like the down movement, the small down movement before the high is coming to an end, right? Which means we can look at potential entries for this asset. Now, same thing, if you do the fib from low to high on this last little move, right? We're getting into the areas. If you do 50% lower like this, we're already in the areas, literally anywhere from 1550 to 13. These are some good buying areas for Chainlink, guys. So anywhere here, guys, we can look at this. This is something that I highly like. It's a good asset, a very great asset that I personally love because I know the importance it has, guys. There's a couple of things you want to look for. And as we go on, we'll talk more about it. But, one of them is tokenomics. Number 2, it's also the adoption. Number 3 is going to be the usage of what is going to be used. And number 4 is it something that has good partnerships or credibility behind it? And in my opinion, Chainlink checks off every single one of them. And it has the potential, guys. It does have a lot of potential to do what it needs to do. But one thing I'm going to tell you guys this, and this is something that I would highly recommend to write down when it comes to taking profit, right? And being a part of kind of what's going on right now. And that is cool. And that is that when most people get in is when you want to get out. Believe it or not, guys, I'm going to be honest. Most people are going to enter Chainlink here. Why? Because it broke all-time highs. That's when people want to buy crypto. Right now, Bitcoin, people want to buy crypto. Why? Because it's at an all-time high. Right? We were like, oh my God, it's higher. I'm gonna now get in. But remember, we watch the masses and do the opposite. Meaning, when people are buying, we're gonna sell. When people are selling, we're gonna buy. So right now, nobody's even buying, right? People are just watching this. They don't even know what Chainlink is. And my first target is around $40 to $50. My first target is before the masses get in. There is upside of 70 to 100. But I want you guys to make sure to look at these zones and say, hey, look, the minimum, the easiest thing I always tell people is, look, at the previous all-time highs, at least take 50% profit. At least, minimum. It could be more, minimum. Because one thing you don't want to be in these markets is greedy. You don't want to do that because I saw that happen, when some of these assets, we saw Ethereum and go crazy and we thought it was going to 10K and a lot of people hold and just round trip the whole thing. So you don't want to be that. At the end of the day, nothing matters until you take profit. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, guys, this is my number 2 that I'm kind of looking at that I'm in myself is Ondo. Okay. Ondo is a huge project. Okay. This is just another project that you guys can start looking into if you guys want. But Ondo just partnered literally with Chainlink and Chase. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw this. I sent this in the Powerhouse Crypto. Put a 1 in the chat if you saw this from last week. If you saw the partnership that I sent in here, shout out to Mike. He talked about it, right? So put a 1 in the chat if you saw this. If you didn't, well, here it is now, right? This is a partnership that just happened, guys, which is huge for institutional investors, guys. Remember, we want to be where big money is, okay? Not little money, not the little ups and downs. We want to see big, big money. So now institutional investors are going to be using this type of chain, which is Ondo, which is what I'm talking about, Chainlink, which I just talked about, and then Connexus, guys. Connexus is by JP Morgan. JP Morgan is using this connection to have institutional investors come into their blockchain. Yes, JP Morgan is creating their own blockchain. They've been doing this for years, guys, like years, but nobody talks about it. But now they're bringing things together. So you being a part of something like Ondo, something like Chainlink, because we already know JP Morgan is going to do its thing. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, you just got to know. You can't fight it. You gotta know, like, hey, they're gonna do big plays, they're gonna be in position. But my question is, are we gonna be in position with them? The same thing that goes on with trading. We want to be in with the banks, not go against the banks because you're never gonna win doing that. You want to go with the money. And this is another asset that I'm looking at right now. It's already at a great entry, in my opinion. Great entry, right? The first time I got into Ondo was here, and I actually took 50% profit here, and then I bought more crypto here, right? So literally, I saw this asset go from here to here, which was almost 200x, okay? But it has high potential. It is a new project, but it's kind of hard to dictate where it could go because it's new, like literally like since 2024, right? So it does have potentials according to tokenomics, but remember, the game you want to play at least is the game of doubles, the game of triples, the game of quadruples. So if we see this asset, if we see Ondo go from here to all-time highs, guys, that's up 2x plus. That's a place where I'm going to be taking partials. And then, has potential of like 3. I personally could see this asset. Don't quote me on it because we don't know tops. We're just looking at from numbers and tokenomics. But this can go from 3 to 5 to even 10 at a maximum peak if other assets go to a maximum peak as well. Okay. So those are kind of a couple two I wanted to talk about. Yes, there's other ones that we're looking at. Yes, I have some ICP in here. But I do want to kind of open this up for you guys for some Q&A. So let me know in the chat box. Do you guys have any questions? You guys have anything that you guys want to have me answer? Anything like that? So yeah, let me know in the chat box if you guys have any questions. If you guys want to send me like markups, we can look at them as well. Something that I'm going to be adding on these sessions is like a Q&A at the end. Okay. Thoughts on DOT? That's a great question, actually. Now, this is the thing, and I like to be transparent, right? And there's nothing for me to hide. DOT was one of my biggest holdings. It's not anymore. I still have DOT myself. I still hold it. But the thing is this, okay? Polkadot. Okay, Polkadot right now, it's at a very unknown territory. Okay, what do I mean by that? What I mean is this: Polkadot is shifting what they want to do because before they were a layer 0, so they were like a blend between like blockchains. But there's already a lot of assets that do that, like bridges and stuff like that. So they're trying to change what they're doing. So I'm not saying DOT is a bad asset. If you have DOT, just hold it. One thing that I don't do anymore, because I did this in the last one, it was my biggest mistake, was that when I was down on a good project to like switch it, I wouldn't really recommend that. Like if you're in, right? But I would not advise to DCA, like to keep buying DOT. If you have DOT, keep it. Like I'm keeping mine. But if I'm not gonna keep buying DOT. I'm gonna buy more of the other assets that I see a lot more upside with. It has a potential, but a lot of things are changing. If you guys have heard about Kusama, unfortunately, right now Kusama has like no use case. Literally, it doesn't. It used to be a part of DOT, but they kind of like disregarded it. So there's a lot of unknowns there. But Polkadot, if you have it, it's okay. Hold it. Just let it be. Let it sit there, but do not buy more, in my opinion. Okay. So XRP. Yeah. So XRP, same thing, guys. Like, in my opinion, XRP, if you're not in, don't get in right now. Like, it's already at a high. This could come lower. As we can see, it created a wick, right? This could come around here, right? This could kind of do its thing. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm always transparent. I didn't get into XRP here, right? A lot of people did in the community. I was in other assets. I wasn't really, I didn't know about XRP. I just think it was kind of long. But if I'm looking to get in again, I'm gonna be looking around these areas personally. Personally, because these are previous all-time highs. There's a lot of imbalance, previous all-time highs, a lot of imbalance, right? So that's what I'm looking at. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna get in. It's okay. But XRP has a huge potential, like huge, more now than ever, because they're actually making moves. So that's kind of my point of view with XRP right now, for sure. FIDA, yeah, very unfortunate. But FIDA, I don't have it right now. I can delete this. I actually sold it up here. My break even. But FIDA is something that was kind of like a Web3 to own like URL and Solana. Right now, it's very sus because there is something called SNS right now. So let's go to X. Okay. There's a new token that they brought out. It's called SNS. It's not the same token as FIDA. It doesn't even look like they're gonna be airdropping. Like they're gonna be rewarding people who've been holding FIDA. So like right now it's at a very, I don't know what FIDA is going to be doing, to be honest with you. Because they have this token, which is a new token, and this is what FIDA was doing. So I don't know if they're going to just disregard it. Is what it seems. If you have FIDA, yeah, like like I said, I don't do this often, but like I would recommend to maybe like transition into something else. Remember, right now the markets are still not at a high, so it's okay. Like you didn't miss out on much. Now, if you're down like a lot, sometimes you just gotta take the L. And if it does its thing, you just gotta understand that like what's gonna help you sleep at night, right? I got out of FIDA. I was DCAing at a low price, and I was like, I don't know, I don't really like what they're doing. So I kind of like took a small L, and I went into another asset. So that's my point of view. With FIDA is if you have it, um, yeah, 100%. Yeah, for sure. If that's gonna help you sleep at night, I think I would, in my opinion, like take everything that I say, but if you want to kind of get into something that like ICP right now, yeah, I think it'll be a good transfer personally because ICP is also at a great low, like right here, great low, right? But remember, ICP guys, I know for you guys have a love for ICP, like you guys love ICP. But I'm here to tell you that I have very conservative take profits for ICP, personally, right? My first take profit is 20, then 40, then 60. This is like a very huge potential. Like the market would have to go crazy for this to happen. But most of my profits are going to be at 20 and 40. Okay. So I'm conservative with ICP because I know that the tokenomics have changed. So I'm not looking for like it to go to hundreds, but it's a great project that will probably do its thing. We're saying that. Okay. Now, lastly, another thing I want to say, you guys could keep asking questions because I'm gonna end this call here the next like 5 minutes. I don't want to make it too long, but I do guys want to tell you guys this is make sure to have a sorry, not decentralized, diversified portfolio. Okay. What do I mean? I mean, you don't just want to hold all your crypto in one category or one crypto, but you also don't want to diversify too much. Okay. So what you want to do is find the projects, find the big assets, the Solanas, the Ethereums, the big ones that you love the most, and stick to maybe one or two of them. Guys, you don't have to be in every crypto. It's one thing that like I think is the biggest thing. Like a lot of people are like, oh my God, I'm getting in this, winning in that. Like this got called out. Like, guys, you do not have to be in every crypto. That was my biggest mistake in 2021. Was trying to listen to every call out, and I was in every crypto. And I was so diversified that I missed on a lot of potential. So on this one, I decided to be more focused, okay, on it. Now, for beginners in this call, how many coins would you recommend? Yeah, 100%. This is your first bull run. I wouldn't do more than 10. I would stick to like 5. Honestly, if I would go back my first bull run, I would stick to 5, guys. I have like 12 max. And I might be adding one or two to that. But I'm gonna be more DCing into the ones I already have. So I would stick to like 5. Like if this is your first bull run, the less the better because the more focused you'll be and you'll be DCing in those, right? And you also want to make sure that those 5 are like in different categories as well, right? So like AI, DeFi, and that's what you can use CoinGecko for, right? You go here, you go to categories, right? And you look at the categories. And if you guys don't know, but ask questions in the chat. We'll talk about this on calls like this, but layer ones are the big ones, right? We have things like DeFi, decentralized finance, big in crypto. You can go in here and say, okay, let me pick one token in DeFi. Guess what? Chainlink is one in DeFi. Chainlink is in like multiple categories. That's why I love Chainlink. One thing that I have in DeFi is on the Aave as well. Aave is a huge decentralized protocol where you can actually lend crypto. It's kind of like think about it like a bank, right? Like kind of like that. It does that for people. Aave is a great project where I entered around $100. It actually came back for a potential entry, but I got in around here. This has potential of at least 500, in my opinion. Okay. So remember, you don't have to buy the whole asset. You can buy partials of it. But also that's very, very key. So I hope that kind of answers your question. But right now, guys, everything is red. Okay. Remember, we buy on red days. We do not buy on green days. So if you're looking at our portfolio, some grabs this weekend, everything is at red. So just kind of stay tuned. Like I said, I talked about Ondo. I talked about Chainlink. I like Sui. Sui is a newer project, but Aave, I like it as well. It could kind of see a little bit more lower, in my opinion. Dot, I'm not DCing in, but I just have it. Jupiter's a good one as well. But remember, when coins are at lower numbers, do not risk your whole bag. Okay, that's what I mean. Like, for example, do not risk your whole bag on ICP. Do not risk your whole bag on Jupiter. Even though it has the highest potential, guys, it also can have you not sleep at night. Okay. So if you want to have peace in these markets, yes, it's okay to have, DCA and Solana once we kind of see like a lower number. It's okay to get in Chainlink. Chainlink has so much upside, right? Chainlink as well, right? Ondo has a lot of upside. Okay. So these are a couple of things we want to look at, guys. Now, Ethereum, in my opinion, is also a great grab. It's been so pushed down for such a big reason. Because think about it, Bitcoin is already here. Like if you compare it to Ethereum, Ethereum hasn't even gotten there like this whole time. So it's being suppressed for a reason. It's being used a lot, is going to be used a lot. So in my opinion, anything under 2,000 is a good grab. Okay. Remember, you don't have to buy the whole coin. You can buy 200 worth, $100 worth, whatever it is, right? You don't have to put all of your money in Ethereum. But remember, keep majority of your things in 50% of your portfolio should be in main caps. Solana, Ethereum, right? Like the biggest ones. Then you can have around like 30% in alts, like the Ondos, the chain links. Okay. And then you can have a couple fund if you want like 10%, 5% in fund, something that's like highly like high potential that we don't really know, right? You can do that. So just keep yourself diversified. Obviously, we'll have calls like more specific on it. Today, I just wanted to be more hands-on. Okay. So put a 7 in the chat if you got some value today. If you have any other questions, let me know. I know somebody was asking, how can you join the crypto chat? If you're an exclusive member of Powerhouse, like Powerhouse University is for everybody who is looking to be a part of potentially what we have opening next. Right now, we closed the doors for Powerhouse. This is our Powerhouse chat. This is everything that's private for only members that have been members for the time they've been here. They are also able to be a part of the Crypto Powerhouse. So if you're an exclusive member of Powerhouse, meaning you're in this chat, reach out to the person who you're closely working with to get access to this. If you're only a part of Powerhouse University, that's part of the exclusive membership, right? So stay tuned because we're gonna have some good things lining up for everybody here in Powerhouse University, guys. Remember, I am gonna be dropping the video as well, but also, guys, remember these calls. Powerhouse University right now is opened up. I highly recommend to invite somebody to this chat, guys. We're doing something very special right now for the next couple of weeks. I know the $1,000 giveaway is going on right now. Like, put a 1 in the chat if you're participating in a $1,000 giveaway. You're gonna be funding your account. You're gonna be taking the challenge. Like, I want to be funding my account tomorrow from the same amount so that we can all work together and do that, guys. Enjoy it. Enjoy this process. Powerhouse University is a time period that we're doing it for. It's not gonna be open for free forever. So enjoy it, take advantage of it. Hop on the calls, guys. We're giving so much game on these calls, and we're making it very open for everybody as well. So always have questions ready. And whatever you guys need, guys, you guys can reach out to me. I'm at Guild Creator, like here on my Zoom. You guys can follow me. Whatever you guys need from me, let me know. But I'm very excited for what's to come. Do you recommend when we buy crypto to move it to the wallet? Wait. Yeah, that's a great question. So I recommend, it just depends. Like, yes, ideally, yes. You want to go from exchange to Exodus, right? If you have not watched my video, last thing I'll talk about is this. If you have not watched my videos that I was able to help make within Powerhouse University, okay, within our the notion that we gave access to everybody here, I have a segment on how to send from your exchange to Exodus, which is a free wallet off of the internet that you're going to be able to keep that crypto. So if you buy crypto today, you might have to hold it for a couple of days. But yes, I advise to move it there as quick as possible if that crypto is allowed in there. Okay. If that crypto is allowed in there. So I have videos on this. So literally here, sending crypto from centralized exchange to Exodus. You guys can watch this as well. And you guys can ask questions as well. So hopefully that answers your question. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you guys for being on today's call. I'm very excited for what we have coming. Next Saturday, I'll be on this with John Luke. Do not miss the calls throughout the week, guys. Stay plugged in, and we have the best is yet to come. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Appreciate you guys. And also, let people know in the chat, what is one thing that you learned? Let people know in Powerhouse University or in Powerhouse, like, what did you learn today? And what is something that you're going to apply? All right, guys, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.